Hello everybody and welcome to the first lecture of our course. We're gonna start with our first section, first and second language acquisition. And our topic is gonna be about the stages of acquiring language for children. But before we start, I want to talk about some technical terms. You may know if you're majoring in English or linguistics, but just in case, let's go over them quickly. We have voiced sounds. Those are sounds that cause vibrations in the vocal cords in the glottis, like b, d, g, z, and v. If you put your hand in your throat while uttering these sounds, we're gonna know what these vibrations mean. So the vocal cords are أحبال صوتية and the glottis is المزمار. It's a part of the vocal tract. Then we have voiceless sounds. Those are sounds that don't cause vibrations in the vocal cords, like p, t, k, s, and f. If you put your hand on your throat, you won't feel any vibrations while producing these sounds. These terms are related to phonetic and phonology. Then we have morpheme, which is related to morphology. Morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit of language. When we say smallest, we mean that we can't divide it anymore. If we divide it, we won't have anything meaningful. So that's the word meaningful. So dog is a word and at the same time it's a morpheme. So it's the smallest meaningful unit. Then we have happiness. Happiness is consisted of two morphemes, which are happy, the content word, and ness is a suffix. So suffixes are morphemes. Then we have undo, which is also consisted of two morphemes, un plus do. Do is the content word or the verb, and un is prefix, so prefixes are also morphemes. Then we'll start with the stages of acquiring language for children. As we said before, children don't just start talking out of nowhere, so they go through various stages. Linguists have divided these stages into two main parts, from sound to word, from uttering their first sound to their first word, and then we have from word to sentence, from their first word to uttering a complete sentence or knowing how to deal with language. So from sound to word, our first stage is vocal and physical ways. Vocal ways like crying and cooing. Cooing is producing vowel sounds like a or u. In this stage, they don't produce consonants, so they just produce vowel sounds. They don't carry any meaning or any non-meaning for us. They just produce vowel sounds, and then physical movements or gestures. They do these movements in various forms and intensities. Then, related to our first stage, we have high amplitude sucking. It's a technique, an experimental technique actually, that is used to measure the preferences in very young infants by measuring their sucking rate in a pacifier while exposing them to different sounds. So they expose children to different sounds, whether they are speech sounds made by a human or maybe motor sounds made by cars, different sounds, and they measure their sucking rate on their pacifier and to know if they prefer that sound or not. So this technique has revealed that infants prefer speech sounds to non-speech sounds, and they prefer looking at the human face and gazing at the mouth movements while talking. So they like to hear speech sounds made by us humans, and they like to look at the human face and gazing at the mouth while moving when we are talking, and especially they love to look at their mother's face. The HAS technique is reliable from approximately 1 to 4 months of age, so after that it's not very reliable and we can't rely on it anymore. Then our second stage in the one word from word sound to word, So from sound to word, our second stage is babbling. Babbling is the act of producing a sequence of a consonant and a vowel, CV, like ba or ma, and this stage usually starts as early as 3 to 4 months of age. So at this age, 3 to 4 months of age, children start to babble. They produce a sequence of consonant and a vowel. In this stage, children go through two stages. inside the babbling itself. The early stage is reduplicated babbling. From its name, the sequence CV sequence tends to be repeated like baba or mama. They repeat the same sequence. At the later stage, they start the non-reduplicated babbling stage. So it's when infants begin to vary the CV sequence like badaga. They say various sequence, like not the same sequence in the first stage, in the previous stage. Then we have the one-word stage. It's the last one. So it starts with comprehension. Children seem to comprehend their first words between 7 and 10 months of age. They comprehend their words, the first words, but still they can't produce them. Then we start with the production. They produce their first recognizable word at the age of 1 year. When they reach 1 year or 12 months of age, they produce their first word. This one-word stage is sometimes called holophrastic stage. It's derived from Greek words. It's from Greek origin. So holo means one, and phrastic means a phrase or sentence to indicate that one word stands for a full sentence. Like when they say milk, they mean, Mom, I want milk. So their words stands for a full sentence. This one-word stage has different characteristics. So our first characteristic is that children often use phonological processes unconsciously when producing their first words, such as they use assimilation, which is making the sound similar to its adjacent or neighboring sound, like using the voiced z instead of the voiceless is, if the adjacent sound is voiced. So if the adjacent sound is voiced, they make it voiced like it, or vice versa. Substitution, they like using t instead of s. Omitting a consonant from the initiating consonant cluster. The consonant cluster is a group of consonant sounds without a vowel between them, like sp and split. They pronounce clean as keen by omitting the L, making it without consonant cluster in the beginning. Then we have the first words are usually nouns like names of people or objects around them, like mama, cat, or juice. Other words may be used like verbs or action words like go or up, or personal or social personal words like hi and bye. Then we have the third characteristic, the common use of overextension and underextension. Overextension is a child's use of a word for objects or items with shared features. For example, using the word dog to refer to all animals with four legs, or maybe using the word chair to refer to every wooden object or an object with the four legs. We have underextension. It's also something that occurs with children. It's a child's use of a word with a narrower meaning than in the adult's language. For example, using dog to refer only to a family's dog. So any other dog, it's not a dog, it's just their dog in their family. Then we have the transition from babbling to single words is not abrupt, so children continue to babble while using their early words. They don't just stop babbling and use only words, so they continue to babble while using their words, and the ratio differs from time to time and from child to child. Let's start then with our word to sentence, with the second part. First, children start using two words together when they have almost 50 words in their vocabulary and are about 18 months of age. So after the one word, they start using two words, and it's when they have almost 50 words in their vocabulary, so they know 50 words, and are about 18 months of age. Around the same age, which is 18 months of age, they go through a word spurt period during which new words spring up in the child's vocabulary on almost daily basis. So children start learning new words almost every day. Then we have the third stage in word to sentence. Its children begin to link together more than two words and enter what has been termed the telegraphic stage. So in this stage, children start uttering more than two words, 3, 4, etc. The term telegraphic is used to reflect the fact that these strings tend to omit functional words and largely consist of content words. So they don't use functional words, they only use content words. Like when they say mama up, they mean that mama picked me up. So they don't use a functional word in this stage. And then the children's knowledge of language continues to develop throughout childhood and adolescence. But remarkably, by the age of 5 or 6, complex syntactic constructions and virtually the entire phonological repertoire of their language are well in place in most children. So when they reach the age of 5 or 6, they have complex syntactic constructions, so they know how to construct sentences. And their entire repertoire is حصيلة لغوية or مخزون لغوي. So it seems to be in a place, so children in this stage know how to communicate and how to use the language to convey the meaning. Then we have our final topic, the mean length of utterance. It's a system developed by researchers or linguists. It's used to measure early linguistic development by calculating the average number of morphemes per utterance. So they called it the mean length of utterance, and they calculate it by dividing the number of morphemes by number of total utterances. So they know the development in this child's language. That's all we're going to talk about today. Thanks for watching, and inshallah I'll see you soon.